Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing this fine Wednesday morning? It is Wednesday. What's going on, Misfit, Boojuice, Brock the Dealer, Dundersnuff? Welcome in. Let us. Ooh, hold on. Okay. All right. Let's get ready to get started. I'm doing really well. Yeah, it's been a good day. Yeah. All right. All right. All right. All right. Here's what we're doing. We got some minis here. I have a whole bunch of minis here actually, and we're gonna scoot a couple things. Just move all of these over and out of the way. We're gonna try to make this work. The room we have on our desk. Bring me TP. What's up, Doc Rose? How you doing? Sure has. Good. Good. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, we're gonna be doing some basing today, and we're also going to be doing transfers. So I'm going to put a transfer on everybody's shoulder pad. At least I'm going to try to. I have one transfer sheet here. What I want to do is use these Slaanesh symboled transfers. Mark on that one. But I think pink can go on a lot of the... Oh no, it can't go on there. Oh no, I can't use any of the pink ones. So let's see. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 22, 32. It's exactly 32. I got a couple more here. I got a couple more here. So I have plenty. I have plenty of transfers I can use. So, yeah. Yeah, we can do it. We can't use the pink ones because I painted all their shoulder pads pink. And a pink transfer or pink shoulder pad doesn't really work. These ones are a bit too big. I don't think I'm gonna slap one of those on anybody. But we're gonna start with basing. And what I did, I was chilling last night, getting some work done, finishing up some highlights, and then I painted everybody's base with a base color of a very, very good color suggested by Crucial Blue. Are you sure they're too big? Yeah, I think they might be a little too big. Burnt Sienna is this color, and if you look, we're going to pull out some GW technicals here. Martian Iron Earth and Martian Iron Crust. I hope I have enough, but... this color is so near identical to the GW equivalents, just a little more brown, and these are just a little more red, but that's perfect for a base coat. So this is going to be great. My plan is to put these colors on, maybe wash them, and then put a dry brush over it, and then that's the basing. But today we're going to put these paints on. If for some reason I'm short of basing material, then I will have to improvise or go to my store this afternoon, and we'll have to make up for it. But when it's all dry, I think we'll do transfers also after we put this on. And then after all that's done, tomorrow we can come back. The transfers will be done. We'll do quick like wash and dry brush on all the bases, and then we'll just be done with them. I'll just need to. I'll paint the base rims, and then I'll varnish them after that on my own time. I won't varnish them on stream because I don't do that. So that's the plan. That's the plan though. So we have these two colors, and these pots are really annoying. And I'm really thinking I won't have enough. I'm pretty empty. We'll see. We'll try it. We will try it. And we're going to do a little bit of both of these. So one thing I really like from GW are these, this little basing tool here. Just a little plastic spatula with like a flat end and a more wide end, a more narrow end, and it just does like everything you want it to do for like a little basing stick. I'm not like one to talk about and be a big proponent for GW hobby supplies, but This one is good. Yeah, I'm already thinking I'm not going to have enough. So what I'm going to end up doing is after stream today, I will I'll head out to my LGS. I'll go grab some replacement. We'll make sure we get the transfers on and everything, so we'll do everything that we can. Everything we can get done. It's like back at the office. Yeah, what's the meaning of the Ouroboros? You know, I'm not totally sure. I'm honestly not like 100% on the Ouroboros meaning for Thousand Suns. So sorry I can't help you there, Night Trap. There might be someone who does know. Maybe someone on Twitch can explain it to us. I don't know. When you painting Fulgrim, I don't know. I would very much like to paint Fulgrim, but I don't have him on the schedule or anything. So if this gentleman wants me to paint Fulgrim for, and they're happy with their Emperor's Children, want me to paint Fulgrim, I'd be more than happy to do it. I mean, he has looked like fun to paint. Okay, so we did that. And what we're doing here, we're actually mixing texture paste, 2 different texture pastes that GW sells. One is a classic like grit and glue and pigment, and the other one is something called crackle paste. And crackle paste is really interesting, and I'm sure you guys have seen it, even if you've not heard what it's, you know, the actual, like what the material is called. But what it does is as it dries, it'll kind of pull itself apart to create like a cracked, like dry earth look, and it looks really cool. So we're kind of mixing these two so we can add something a little more interesting here. I could just go and put crackle paste on everything, or just put the sand on everything, but I don't exactly want to do that. So also we're stretching our paint a little bit, right? So economically speaking, this is what we want to do. Okay. Painting Wordbearer Centurion to test my freehand skills. Very nice. Very nice. Or your fire freehand skills. Dunder Snuff Reddit says cycles of destruction and rebirth. Quest for knowledge and the cause for downfall. Well, there you go. Okay. Stuck back in the office. That's too bad. Normally do a mix of crackle and earth effects as well. Nice. Alright. I'm not alone. You know, and if I know Procurl's Martian-based texture, is that a grit texture, or is that a crackle paint? Does anybody know, or could anyone look that up? Because that might be what I end up getting if they got it. That burnt sienna is so close to this Martian iron earth that I am not concerned about a color difference, and I will wash and dry brush things anyway. It's just grit, okay. And they don't have like a second one for that color, right? It's just the one per color. think so. Okay, okay. Good to know. Thank you. Thank you, Misfit. Do you like it? Is it? I haven't actually used the Pro Acryl basing materials yet. I switched to the Green Stuff World Crackle paint. It's very similar, but much bigger bottles. Okay, okay. I don't have super easy access to Green Stuff World, which is a bit unfortunate for me, but I'd have to order it online. I'd like to go out and get it today so I can finish this up. Person's been waiting long enough for their stuff. Finer grain than some of their others. Their coarse grain's a little hard to work with. Okay, okay. That's very very good to know. It's really useful. Transfer should be quick. I'll show you guys the transfers when we're done with this. But these will most likely need the afternoon to dry. Hey Mystic, how you doing? It's well worth the wait, yeah. I'm gonna paint Epic Scale Saturnine or Saturnine as Wordbearers with Hazard Stripes. Dang, okay, okay. You're gonna do Epic Scale Freehand Flames on your minis. That is that's pretty bonkers. Let's put a little bit of this back here. Having your breakfast? Nice. Very nice. Oh man. It's been a good day so far though. I can't complain. I'm a little sleepy, but if that's the worst of my day, then it's going to be a great day. So a 4:15. Yeah. Man, I remember working third shift. Like, get home from work, eat a little bit at 8 o'clock in the morning, and then go to sleep. Wake up, eat dinner for breakfast. Crazy. Pretty good flames in the Heresy Mark III helmet face guard. Nice. Very nice. Okay. So you got a plan. I think that's great. No, I think that's I think it's a cool idea. It's going to be a tough idea to execute, but I think it'll look good. Pull it off. Protein powder on my rice porridge this morning. The texture serving. Yeah, I bet that would throw you off a little bit. Jeez. You were trying not to waste food. Okay, next one, we got 6 done. Need another 26 minis to go. See, this like thickened crackle paint's probably way too much. Let's put some of you back. Lionel Johnson next. Oh, cool. Getting your medieval literature in, Mystic. I'm looking forward to how these bases will look. Bet them material here. Warlords, Warbear Centurion display case on the Warhammer store. Oh, cool, cool. Skiing. Saw. Nice, yeah, yeah. That makes sense, you know? Yeah, you get in your head like what a cool color scheme, and you want to do it. Like that's perfectly reasonable. Nothing wrong with that. Hi Stella, welcome in. How are you doing? I am putting some basing material on minis. And when we're done with this, we're going to put some transfers on minis. And then we're going to kind of take a look, see where we're at. And the painting dad might have to run an errand after stream and get more basic material. This stuff should start to dry. I don't think it'll be completely dry by the end of stream, but it'll start to dry and you guys can see what the effect will come out. Getting Gilman and Laura fight on Nuceria. Oh nice, that's cool. Martian Iron Earth? Yes, so this is... I'm using two different basing paints. Both of them are Games Workshop, so I'm using Martian Iron Crust and Martian Iron Earth. So I'm mixing them a little bit, but I'll show you what I do here on the next mini. Welcome into the stream, by the way. Normally not super big on GW basing materials, but this one kind of works out. So okay, 9 done. All right, so what we're doing, need more pink boys. Well, they're all painted, so pink boys are done and painted. All I have left to do is basing and transfers, and then a couple little things. But okay, so I'm starting with Martian Iron Crust. I'm taking a little dollop here, and I'm gonna spread that around a little bit. This is adding a nice, like, different texture, but it's also letting me kind of spread my resources, because I think I'm going to run out of material on these minis before I actually finish basing them today. So we are going to do our best with what we got. And you know, I may have quite a bit here. I don't want to start like putting it on so thin that it looks like garbage either. Like, I want to make sure it looks good. But we're gonna kind of mix this in. That's kind of the goal, is to get this stuff worked in with the other material a little bit. And it reduces some of the crackle property of the crackle paint from the Martian Iron Earth, but it adds a lot of bulk to it. And again, we're not doing that everywhere, we're just kind of like teasing this material in. I believe. Hey, Mystic, thanks for subbing. I appreciate that. Oh no, Misfit gifted a sub. Thanks, Misfit, for gifting a sub. And and Mystic, there you go. No more commercials while you're chilling. Stupid ads. Do ads cut off my stream, guys? Are they popping up like in the middle of the stream? As far as I'm aware, they should not be. If ads are cutting off my words, please let me know. Because I will change that, or do what I can to change it. I'm not sure how Twitch is messing with things or changing requirements on stuff. So comes Epic 30K. It's just looking at what's in the infantry boxes, whether you print or not. The game's heavily balanced around infantry, including yeah. The infantry would be the best ones to buy, I think, from GW proper for Imperialis. And I think the main reason is that they come on sprues, and they are significantly easier to paint when they're on sprues. So you can just deal with them on the sprue and not have to worry about like attaching each mini to an individual like fixture, or doing something like that. You paint them on the sprue and then you clip them off and you glue them on the base and you're good. So that, to me, if I were to play Imperialis, would be reason enough to buy some of this stuff. But like I said, I do have like 1,1300 STLs from Imperialis. If I ever decided to jump in, I can at least try the game out in a really easy manner. If you get a reward, maybe I don't know. There's nothing definitive about it. If I had to bet on one or the other, I would say yes. But also, I don't think it's going to be like a soon kind of thing. Hey, Quishy, what's going on? Welcome in, guys. Won't be cheap. No, it won't be cheap, and the models are going to be 1,000 parts each. And it's probably going to be Heresy. Probably not 40k. So if you guys are ready to accept that, then you're good to go for new BFG. But if that's too much, then you know, maybe don't worry about it. Theory Saturday rolls 30k. Might be really good points per dollar. Yeah, you might be right about that, because Saturnine are really big, expensive Terminators and big Heresies. So them in 30k might be, yeah, if you want like a small elite army. I don't care for the style, like the aesthetic of the Saturnine stuff though. So in general, so that kind of reduces my interest in it quite a bit. Like if I were to play 30k, I doubt I would have mini Saturnine stuff. And I probably wouldn't collect 1,000 Suns for. So if I did collect 1,000 Suns for Imperial, so it'd be like one detachment worth 1,000 Suns, and I would get other things. How many ships will be in a box? What would it look like to field? I think the best comparison to Battlefleet Gothic will be Adeptus Titanicus. Look at the prices. Look at the army sizes for Adeptus Titanicus, and I think you will get Battlefleet Gothic pretty close. Spoiler, Adeptus Titanicus is an expensive game. You know, you want that Gloriana class battle cruiser or whatever, that might be a $170 miniature. And I don't, like, I'm not saying that to be pessimistic, but I think that's a realistic look at what will be BFG. Who doesn't have STLs for Battlefleet Gothic ships, right? Yeah, ships are easier to print than stuff like Titans too, so. Yeah, and I can definitely see it being just to starty ships, but to start, and then, you know, there's Mechanicum ships, and there's Imperial Navy ships, and there's different kinds of things. Like, they'll eventually get to them, but you need to temper your expectations if there is going to be a Battlefleet Gothic. Like, you gotta understand that it's going to be expensive. I'm sure the models look great. I'm sure the game will be reasonable in its gameplay, but it's going to be pricey. You think I'd play Auxilia in Imperialis? I wouldn't mind it. I like Solar Auxilia. It'd be fun to play other Space Marine legions too. Space Marine is just easy to paint. I don't think I would care to collect Mechanicum too much in that game, in Imperialis, but otherwise nothing's too bad. Like, if someone gave me a Mechanicum army and said, here, you know, like, I would happily paint them and find games for them and everything, but We're doing pretty good on the amount of stuff we have here. We got 12, 13, 14 down. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yep. So we got everybody there. And then 12. So, what did we say? 14. We're almost halfway done. Unfortunate thing, the last 12 have 40 mil bases. They're a lot bigger. Any battles in Heresy where there were a ton of demons? Yeah, I think so. I mean, the Siege of Terra had a ton of demons. There was, what was the battle? There was a Blood Angels battle where they fought a bunch of demons. That's where Sangonius fought Kabanda, right? That was the dude. That was a big notable one. Heresy Era Mechanicum is cool. Infantry are expensive. And yeah. I agree. I hope the Skitarii fills some gaps in the Mechanicum list. I know we have a couple Mechanicum players, and they are very vocal about what they perceive as Mechanicum not being any good because they don't have line infantry, and their troop choices are just tech marines, or not tech marines, but tech priests. So I know the Skitarii are supposed to be a different army technically, but them having some more options. You can ally without the 50% limit and everything. So them being able to do that, I think, should help their army a bit, especially if they have like line 1 or something. Battle of Cygnus Prime is one, with a bunch of demons. Yeah, Cygnus. Yeah, yep. Slim Richmond, what's going on? How you doing? Whoa, alright, hold on. Messing up here. Accidentally. See, when they all their swords pointing every which way, you end up sticking their swords in other people's bases. Can't do that. Gotta be careful. Okay. How are you doing? You doing, Slim? Why do I feel like Tommy Lee Jones saying that? Its faction isn't Space Marine, and again, it's basically all space. No. It's so. It's not that. Because Mechanicum are really good. They just play so different. And, you know, I think. I personally think that the players who are most vocal, at least in my local group, about complaining about Mechanicum are players who are looking for something to complain about, and not just like, you know, oh, I gotta play this differently. You know, I don't hear Solar Auxilia players complaining, but Solar Auxilia also play the game a lot more like the Space Marines do, and Solar Auxilia are really good, and they went from being awful, like Mechanicum were awful in 2nd edition, but Solar Aux are really good now. They are not by any means suffering, and their rules are fairly simple, where Mechanicum tend to have really complicated rules. There had to be, yeah, there are demon engines in 30k. Yeah, I know the big scorpion thing. What is that? Is that's like a model in the core Mechanicum rulebook. And I'm sure there will be more. I'm sure the big spider walkers from Imperialis will come to 30k. All right, we're halfway done with models here on the basing. And let's do a little update. The first guy, let's get him out here. He's starting to dry. You can see just around the corners there, it's starting to get a little matte of a finish. It's starting to dry. Erebus and Horus capitalize on the Blood Angel's gene flaw. Yeah, okay. But, yeah, old Sanguinius wasn't too happy about that. You don't want to make him angry either, because he's, like, friendly to everybody. The Defiler's not in 30k, but there is a what's the big my brain always keeps wanting to say Tomb Scorpion, but it's the big Demon Engine Scorpion. What is that thing called? The Brass Scorpion, that's what it is, yeah. Brass Scorpion. Dark Mech. Consider how dark regular mech is. Yeah. I mean, if they're calling themselves Dark Mech, like, they gotta be really dark. Because regular Mechanicum is about as evil as it goes anyway. And I think it's not about who's good and evil. They're Dark Mech because they're using heretical technologies, which are essentially just technologies that aren't allowed in normal Mechanicum circles. So it's like saying, we're going to play football, but you can't pass the ball, right? And then some team decides to start passing the ball, and you're like, they're evil and heretical. They're the dark football players. That's essentially Dark Mechanicum in a nutshell. Do they have a brass monkey as well? Not that I'm aware of, but you can do some research if you find a brass monkey. Let me know. A giant brass gorilla, like a Mechanicum, like gorilla miniature that's, you know, like demon possessed and everything, sounds awesome, frankly. Like, that'd be super cool. So I wouldn't even be mad if that was something they made. Two more of these guys, and then we got the 12 Noise Marines. No, so it wouldn't be called a brass monkey if Ark and Land invented it. It'd be called a land monkey, because he has to name things after a brass Arkan. Would that be it? Brass gorilla, land gorilla. And you're like, oh yeah, it's just a gorilla on land. No. It's named after Ark and Land. You know, yes, it does like walk, and it can't fly or anything, and it does traverse land, but Trader Mech technically not be Dark Mech. Yeah, I think that would be true. Can Trader Mech not be Dark Mech? I would say dark mech is specifically like the use of technology, not necessarily traitor or loyalist. Like they could join Horus, still be Mechanicum, still be traitors, but still also follow their beliefs and with their use of technology. And I think the thing that points that out to me is that like Imperialis has specific rules for Dark Mechanicum. Like we don't play, like the books that we have, the rules that we have are for Mechanicum, and then we'll probably get a separate rulebook for Big Heresy for Dark Mechanicum later. Hey Butterscorch, what's going on? Jumping on YouTube today. Or a lot of just Traitor Mechanicum, yeah. Yeah, because you get those people like, the spectrum of, to them it's a better idea to side with Horus, but that doesn't change how they feel with their in response, I guess, in respects to their faith, right? Traitor Mech believe is the Omnissiah. I don't know. Maybe they still believe the Emperor is the Omnissiah, or yeah, I have no idea. I can't answer philosophical Mechanicum questions. Maybe they think Horus is the Omnissiah. This is dangerous. I'm feeling confident that I have enough basing material now to finish everything. I don't think that's right. We're done with the Infractors and Tormentors. So now it's time for the big boys here. But what's unfortunate is all of these guys have tabards that stick halfway through their base. And while that'll save us some little space on material, it's going to mean that we have to basically do these in two parts. YouTube updated its UI and I don't like it. Oh no. No, don't tell me that. I'm not looking forward to that. I haven't noticed anything this morning. Was it like a just now thing, or are you talking about like the past week or something they updated the UI? The Emperor was false Omnissiah, the conjurer of tricks. Okay, so they just straight up, I guess, changed their religion in that sense, where they just believed the Emperor wasn't the real Omnissiah. That's convenient. To be fair, though, the Emperor did kind of suck, so... To roll out? Okay, okay. I will keep my eye out. First one of those done. Let's get the next one. We'll deal with the Dragon of Mars. It's kind of a Necron thing. Yeah, I think that's the Void Dragon, right? Didn't that end up like being the whole deal with the Dragon of Mars? Fix that knight's leg. The Dragon of Mars did. What a friendly dragon. Not like Albie. Oh, Albie. Yeah. And the cool way is, or it'd be cool if he was an actual dragon. I mean, it's fine. I like the Void Dragon mini. I have it. I have it. It was a great mini. It was a lot of fun to paint. I painted it on stream. This one is a couple years ago. Alright. 10 more. Can it happen? Let's use a little more of this. Okay. I was hoping someone would get my joke. Let's... Didn't get it. I don't know. It was a Flight of the Conchords joke, guys. You know, this is where I start to not like the really big containers. Because as it gets empty, you have to, like, dip all the way down. It makes it inconvenient. Which Primarch is most justified for their traitor ways? Magnus. Magnus got done dirty. Whether he did something wrong or not, like, even after he like tried to be loyal and he was just trying to like rebuild himself and everything, and Malcador was like, LOL, I destroyed the part of you that you wanted most. Yeah, Angron's another good one because I fully believe, you know, being a fictional setting and everything, the Emperor could have 100% fixed Angron and decided not to because he thought it was a better idea to have, you know, he wanted warlords, not thinkers or whatever, basically. And yeah, maybe he saw that Angron would be too compassionate or whatever, and so he decided to keep the butcher nails in. So Angron is very much like he can't help himself with how crazy he is. He also didn't choose to become like a demon either, which is really tragic. You know, it was Lorgar doing his nonsense. Or seemed destined to be a menace either way, yeah. Curse is like the nature versus nurture question, right? That's 4. We got 8 more peeps to do here. No excuse for him not to release the Warhounds on Nucerian, let them fight for their Primarch, yeah. Yeah, like, just overall, like, crappy decisions, right? Just all of it was pretty poor all around. Yeah, he just beamed up Angron and just, yeah, let all of his friends die. The Emperor's like, there's no time, you have to come with me. Alright, it's gonna be an 8-month travel. You have time to meet your new legion. No, Ferrus Manus is not still alive, but GW might find a way to put him back into 40k. Because GW controls the canon, and they can do whatever they want to sell minis, so... If they want Ferrus Manus to come back to life, or they want to, you know, have him resurrected and or part of the, what is it, the Legion of the Damned or something, like, all of those things can easily happen, as long as GW wants it to happen. But no, I think he is one of the few Primarchs that are, like, definitively dead. It's only noon, an hour in, and we're doing really good here. There is a chance. Means I don't have to run extra errands, which is nice. Six more, guys. 6 more. 40k stilt. Skitarii are leaking to Heresy. Yeah. What do you think of them, Cultured American? I think they look good. I want to see them with different color schemes. Because I do not like the color scheme they chose. Whether it's lore accurate or not, I'm not a fan. But my understanding is that their style is much closer to the original Skitarii, which is very, it's very much how, like, the Heresy design kind of operates with a lot of things, where they pull from, like, nostalgia for a lot of the minis, so I can see that. They're very John Blanche, right? I've heard the color scheme. I dig the waist nomad look. The legs look long. Yeah. I agree. Yeah, if you really don't like the like stilt leg aspect, then then you're probably going to really struggle with these. And I normally don't like the stilt legs. I think that if these minis released before the stilt dude from 40K, I think people would be generally more receptive to them, because there's not already that like negative connotation with that horrid looking mini. I do think people in general have decided that if you don't like those minis and you're playing Mechanicum, you can use the 40K ones, and I don't think anyone's going to have a problem with that. I think if there's anything that would be different, it's probably that those stilt leg ones have a higher movement value than like normal infantry, probably like an 8 or a 9. But also, like, I don't care about that in the game. Like, if someone wants to use the cool minis, by all means, use the cool minis. First thought, curious to see the rules. Yeah. First captain, do you think hates their Primarch the most? I don't know. I think a lot of them have good reason, right? I know Ahriman really despised Magnus. And I'm trying to think, like, Sevatar seemed pretty jaded about Kurz, but I don't know. I don't know specifically, like, who would be the most scornful. We got 4 left. We got to make this work. I thought I was going to run out of basing material, guys, but I think I can make it. I think I can stretch this. Maybe not even stretch it, but just make it kind of work out. Do a little more of this on this guy. Because the Night Lords were they were ones, like, as soon as Kurz was like injured, they were just like, all right, we're out, like, and they just kind of split up, right? That was the Night Lords. They had no sense of like unity or anything. Dundersnuff. I wouldn't say Ahriman hates Magnus, more like Magnus is not his Magnus. No. I mean, even before that, he talks about how much just a lot of things, you know. Magnus being stuck being a Primarch, you know, and kind of being a whiny child, and Ahriman's like, there's better things we could do or worry about, and not to mention Magnus, like, blocking communication of the planet, so no one knew, like, an actual invasion was coming, or any of those things that, like, Magnus did to, like, against the Legion, saying that he fixed the flesh change when really it was a temporary fix. Did I read Era of Ruin? I have not read Era of Ruin. No. Is that one I should read? Okay, 3 more. We'll do a little checkup on these guys that are drying. Scarry legs look very similar to 40k Thousand Suns robot legs. Ooh, yeah, I hadn't thought of that, but that'd be pretty rough if that's the case. Like I said, I think a different paint job will do them a lot of favors, and I think seeing them in person will help a lot. I think it's the same with the Cataphractii Terminators, where people they're complaining about the proportions of the Cataphractii, and I think it's just camera stuff. And when you see them in person, they'll probably be like really menacing and cool looking. We're gonna try to just the gritty stuff. Just after the end of the death. Oh, that's the new book, right? The Era of Ruin. No, you're on my notification to go. Oh, I'm sorry, T-Slayer. That's lame. What's the point in having notifications if they don't work? Well, welcome in. This guy's gonna be really heavy on the grit. We have quite a bit of this grit left. Try to make good use of it. Okay, and this last one for this grit, and then we'll get the crackle paint out. We'll finish up the crackle paint. Seems like I was able to do it. And we'll do some transfers, if that's cool with you guys. I'll walk you through my process. It's not. Okay. Wait, no, is this New Horse Rising they're releasing? An Omnibus of the first... Yeah, I'm not quite sure what exactly they're doing with the omnibuses. Are they condensing books into one, or is it multiple books in one and they're just picking out like the important ones? What are they doing? What are they doing with that? There's actually a little bit of this iron crust left, but let's get these guys. Let's get you. I read through the article like 3 times. I'm still not 100% sure what they're doing. The Era of Ruin is pretty soon after Emperor's Children fall. Isn't that like I thought they fell? They're like right at the beginning though, like before Istvan 5, right? Okay. 2 more in this color. Or this paint here. And we have just a tiny bit left over. But I will need to we'll need to write this down. As a purchase next time I go into the local game store. Steep decline before Istvan 3 they were moving. Yeah, but it was like I remember it was like after Istvan 3, right? It was like that's where you have like the Mara Viglia and everything. Or was that before Istvan? I didn't think that was before Istvan 3. I thought it was they cleansed the loyalists from the ranks and then they went full crazy. Okay, one more. We had the mats, guys. We had the materials we needed. We done good. Good job, team. I'm doing my part, yeah. Came in here and complained. That's what you did, Cultured. Okay. This last little bit, we'll kind of mix this stuff in here just a little bit. If we get some on the little tabards and stuff. I think I am going to use some weathering powder on these guys. But, boom. That's all. Boom goes the dynamite, right? Is that... basing materials on. It's good parasocial relationship without light ribbing. Yeah. Let's wipe this off. And again, this awesome GW little spatula paying for itself. Yeah, I love this tool. Oh, you're talking Night Trap. Okay. Oh, I see it. Okay. So let me put this guy away. Now, we don't need these. We don't need that paint. That can all go to the side. We're gonna get a brush and another brush. something I'm going to do, we're going to do this in a couple parts. First of all, well, let's take a look at how dry this is. So this piece is drying. I don't know if you can start seeing the cracks there. Only just so far. They should get bigger. Now, my understanding is that crackle paint works best when it's put over a gloss varnish. It separates in bigger chunks and everything. I did not do that, so we're just going to just watch it as it is, I guess, and we'll get a little bit of that effect. But we're going to pull out everyone who is not getting a transfer. And that essentially means anyone whose right shoulder pad is covered. So this happy young lad here, he will go over there. We have this guy, he's not getting a transfer. We have this guy, also not getting a transfer. We're going to set them up so they can go dry on their own. That guy, this guy right here, we got this guy. Quite a few of the Noise Marines aren't getting transfers. Okay, about half the Noise Marines getting transfers. That's cool. All right, now let's go through Fractors. That's 3 of them, 4 of them, 5, 6. Just to check everyone's shoulders. Okay, so 6 of them. So I have 8. Yep, it is 16 or 14 Infractors and 6 Noise Marines. That's 20 transfers. They all have pink shoulder pads. So what that means is we will need to find not pink transfers. Put on these minis. Actively subscribing to watch paint dry. Yeah, you should have realized that way earlier, Culture American. That's on you. It's honestly on you. All right, I have a little container of water here. It's not dirty. It is clean water, but even then, it's not that big a deal if it were dirty water. Okay, we need a couple brushes. A smaller brush will do just fine. Our transfers, of course, very important. And then 2 other tools we need. So one is a hobby knife, and the other is my secret weapon here. Here we go. These really nice precision tweezers. So these little guys, I use these so much. I got them out of like a laptop screen replacement kit, and they have done serious work. These tweezers, and it also came with a spudger, a metal spudger tool. That is another one of my most useful tools. Where's that? This bad boy right here. Like, this is stout. This does whatever you need it to do as far as a spudger goes, or like a wedge. Really good. No, we are not stabbing or cutting the transfers with the tweezers. We're just gonna pick them up and use it to kind of guide what we need to. So we're gonna pull out some transfers here. I think we're gonna start with the black and gold transfers. That should be enough to cover everything we have. These ones, I believe, are specifically made for the Noise Marines. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 usable transfers for the Noise Marines, if I'm not mistaken. They still seem pretty big. No, we're gonna stick with these little ones here. Can the spudger paint minis for me? Yes, it'll do it automatically. You don't even have to mess with anything. So let's go ahead. Here's what we'll do. We're gonna cut out. And this is how I do transfers, guys. So if you're curious how I apply transfers to minis, this is the process. We're gonna start. I'm gonna cut out bunch of these, you know, and let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll cut out the individuals here in a second. Okay, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 transfers. I need 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Take these 6 out. Okay, we have our 20 transfers. If we happen to need more, we have extras here. But we're gonna set those there. Hey, Ogre Forge, how you doing? I saw you there. I'm sorry. Welcome in. Cut out the individual transfers carefully. And I'll start with these 6. Okay. So what we're doing first, we're going to take this little strip of transfers and we're going to set those to the side, just so they don't get wet or anything. And then what I do is I just pick them up. I make sure I dunk them in the water so there's air bubbles or anything for them to float. You see how that's like starting to float? Sometimes you just gotta move them. And they're gonna sit in the water for about a minute. They could probably sit in there for a good 5 or 10 minutes. It's not gonna hurt anything. Eventually what's gonna happen, smaller transfers, this happens a lot faster, is they will they'll start to separate from the paper on their own. And yeah, and it'll make them difficult to pick up. But the tweezers help with that. A small brush helps with that. We'll get our little dumpy brush here. And the next product we need, well, we have 6 transfers here, so let's get 6 minis. And we're just gonna grab, we'll do 1, 2, we'll set you guys over here, 3, 4, 5, and let's do number 6 here. Okay, these 6. The next product we need is this stuff. This is the stuff I use. It's called MarkFit. It has the same purpose as Microset and Microsol. What's up, Rage? How you doing? The difference with this is it's just one product. So we don't have to worry about getting out 2 bottles of stuff. So MarkFit is really good. And I will show you guys, if you can see the amount of liquid that's still in this bottle, like it's almost full, right? Like this is a nearly full bottle. I have put on thousands of transfers, and I am not kidding, plural, thousands of transfers using MarkFit. This bottle of MarkFit, and that's how much I've used. So this stuff goes a long way. It's a good, easy purchase to just last forever. So we're gonna get a model ready, and I'm just gonna set it at an angle that's easy to work with. We'll get our brush just a little damp here. Yes, you do apply before and after the transfer. And actually, I need, I'm gonna get a paper towel real quick. I'll be right back, guys. Okay, and my apron just broke. Is that fun? The like tie string on my apron. I guess I need a new apron. Talk to the painting wife about that. Okay, you guys ready? Culture, if you give me a little bit of time, I'll show you how it turns out. Okay, what this will do, the MarkFit, its whole purpose is to dissolve the plastic backing on the transfer, right? If you're not familiar with that, so put a little bit right on that surface. What direction should these be pointing? Should they just be pointing straight up? Okay, we have our dampened brush. We're going to use our tweezers to kind of grip these somewhere where we're not holding the transfer. Sometimes said than done. Go. It's moving, angled like this. Okay. Actually, that's really good. Actually, we're gonna just adjust it just a little bit. How's that? Is that proper? A little matte varnish takes the sheen off. Yes, it does. And it also depends on the transfers. So the Forge World transfers, the plastic backing on them is very thick. So nailed it. Okay, cool. So I noticed the backing on those don't dissolve quite as fast or as much as the normal GW transfers. I don't know what the difference in construction is, you know, and production on these, but what we'll do real quick. Yeah, Forge World transfers are a little more difficult. They look great, but they're just difficult. I'm gonna take the paper towel then, and I'm just gonna kind of dab it over kind of the bottom edge of these, but we can go kind of around. You don't want to move the paper towel over top because you risk like moving the transfer. But we're going to just dab out some of the water and the mark fit from the bottom, just so it starts to sit in place. And we're going to revisit that one more time. This could be moved a little bit. I think I pushed that down. This is the most difficult part, is just getting them in the right spot. Okay, I think that's reasonable. And absorb some of the liquid out from the bottom. Again, it'll help it sit in place. Okay. It's not going to look like anything yet. All right, we'll get there. We'll get there. I have 3 different GW transfer sheets, and I'm going to get a 4th one eventually, I think. But yeah, they're all pretty similar. Just the backing is really heavy on them. So the heavy matte varnish over the top is a little more important for the yeah, that's good. Okay. The Forge World transfer is even more. But I matte varnish most of my minis anyway, or I will at least varnish them with something. So I'm never too concerned about the finish on these transfers. So yeah, once we get this process rolling though, it's really fast. Just like that. Dude. Come on. Push. Okay. AK Ultramat. Yeah, I have AK Ultramat, and I use it. I think it's pretty good. It has an incredible finish to it, but it is a terrible varnish. It's way too like clouded, like it's too matte to actually work as a varnish. So when I use Ultramat, it's over a different varnish, because I know if I start messing with it, it's not going to protect anything. Yeah. If I'm just using straight matte varnish, I have Liquitex that I just push through an airbrush. But yeah, the Liquitex satin is what I typically use on my my Thousand Suns, and then I'll go through after I satin varnish the whole mini. I'll go through and I'll Ultramat all of the like non-metallic areas, so the cloth or like the white parts of the armor or something like that. So yeah, I just don't think it holds well as an airbrush. That's, you know, I use the stuff. I have the stuff sitting. Oh yeah, it's in my airbrush booth right now. But maybe I'm just too rough on my minis. Okay, again. Getting this liquid out from underneath. When we have these 6 done, we'll do our next step on these particular minis here. Actually, we'll do that after we get the next set of transfers in the next set of transfers in the water, and then we'll go from there. I'm not adding a transfer. I usually don't bother with varnish. Yeah, I always varnish. I always varnish minis. Okay, so we're gonna get all this just a minute. These 6 dudes. And while I'm doing that, we're gonna pull these 6 transfers off the bottom here. These are all going to be Noise Marine transfers because I believe they're slightly larger. But we want to just give them a little more time in the water, so they're easy to work with. I also like to stay organized and do multiple transfers. I'll kind of do like a clockwise thing, so I'll kind of start at 12 o'clock and I kind of move around where I put the transfer, so I don't forget what's what, and it's, you know, everybody gets out the same amount of time in water. Not a big deal, but that is kind of how I like to work. Okay, so they're in the water. Now let's go back to these Noise Marines. Okay, and you can see the glossiness on the transfer. That's the plastic backing. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take Mark Fit, and we're just going to put a good little amount of Mark Fit on that guy. And I'm going to set this guy, we'll set him up here. And we'll do this one. I don't like doing this Mark Fit step right after I apply the transfer, because sometimes if you're a little too aggressive or moving too quick, you can accidentally bump and move the transfer. So I want to give it just a little bit of time to dry out underneath, so it's not going to be sliding when I'm applying this layer on. After a few hours, what'll happen is the plastic will dissolve and you'll start to see it dissolve. It takes a few hours. It's not a fast process. But in about 4 or 5 hours, you come back and you can check these. And if you can still see the plastic backing, then you just put another coat of Mark Fit on it. Try to keep it on the transfer. You don't want too much going onto the paint itself, because it could very slowly and kind of lightly start to dissolve the paint, and it could mess up the paint a little bit. So if you're real paranoid about that, you can varnish your minis before you put on the transfers. I don't think it's necessary, but it is something you can do. Not been impressed with Microset Microsalt. Yeah, I've never used those. Like I said, I bought this bottle of Mark Fit. It is still 90% full, and I have used this for about a couple thousand transfers. There's no need. I've done my 15,000 points of Thousand Suns. I've done countless commissions like this. I've done my Ultramarines. I've done banners on like I've used this a ton, and I have not needed at all to replace or try something else. I think I did order this, but you can find this in hobby stores, so it's worth asking in LGS. I know Tamiya products are carried at like a Hobby Town, if you're familiar with like Hobby Town USA, which is a pretty big chain. I don't think they're quite as big as they used to be, but Hobbytown might be a decent place to find Mark Fit. Otherwise, find it online. You might be able to find it. There is a an online store I really like. I don't know if they carry Tamiya, but it's worth looking. One I like to recommend to people, because if I'm ordering random stuff online that I can't find, I will order from this store, and they're called Kick-Ass Mail Order. And they're a super cool store. I think it's an LGS in Michigan. And they just do a really good job with their online orders. They have a lot of different items in stock. They ship out really fast. They're nice. A lot of times they put a couple pieces of candy in the package, so, that sells it, but... Okay, transfer on that. Noise Marine. Down the road from me has surprising selection. Yeah, AK, yeah. I have seen normally if a store carries AK, they'll carry Tamiya in the US. Let's change your angle a little bit. Mydro, how you doing? Okay, so I did read the Gladius Detachment. I didn't notice a ton of differences. Do you mind telling me the difference between the new Gladius and the old Gladius? And why does it make Calgar stronger? I would like to know, because I was looking through it, and I haven't played 40k in a minute, so I was a big Gladius enjoyer though back in the day. So I'm just curious, like what's the difference? They don't have Mark Fit. Oh, that's too bad. Okay. Element Games puts candy and sweets. Is that like a European thing? I ordered some printed miniatures from like a German website. It was a couple years ago at this point. I think it was like 2 years ago. But for like some gifts, I couldn't print them, so I had to order these prints. And it was this German company that made them. And they put. I got legit German Haribo gummy bears in the package. I was really excited about it. I think I still have the package somewhere. I ate the gummy bears, but you got candy from them? Nice. Yeah. You have Calgar, you select the same doctrine more than once. Oh dang. So just every turn, you just pick a doctrine if you have Calgar? That's gotta be busted. There's no way that's actually the thing. That's crazy. I mean, Calgar basically already picks... He has all the doctrines for himself already, so... Oh, it's still the 3 limit, but if you never want to use Tactical Doctrine, you don't have to. You can just use Devastator Doctrine 3 turns in a row. Oh, I never put Mark Fit down. Hold on, I'll put a little bit of this. Boop. There you go, buddy. Gladius is already so good. I love how good Gladius is because it's so like generalist. I hate having to adult. I'm sorry. Don't adult. Just come watch Twitch. Go just a little bit. Few EU UK stores put them in. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, Element Games is like a big store, so I think that's unique. I would have thought it was always like a mom and pop store or whatever. Get AI to do the adulting. I feel like that's what AI should be doing, right? Not doing all the fun stuff. Although I would not want an AI to be my doctor. Okay, a little too much liquid there. We'll absorb some of it. Adjust. Calls up an appointment for new tires. Oh, that sucks. Yeah. Start as a mom and pop operation. Okay. Wait, Element Games is owned by the Artis Opus guy? What? I didn't realize that. That's crazy. Enhancement called Student of the Codex. Started command phase. Bears on the battlefield. Can use enhancement. It does start your next command phase. Tactical Doctor to active for the unit. Okay. You know, I think that's a nerf. I think there was a stratagem in Gladius that you just pick a doctrine, right? Or was that, am I misremembering something? I thought there was one where you just pick it and... But that's an enhancement, right? Enhancement where you get the tactical doctrine. Never mind. That's just free tactical doctrine. So that means you're stuck in melee, you can just fall back and charge again. Right, for free is what that is. Fall back, shoot, and charge. Easy peasy. I don't like how that one seems a little uneven. About that way a little bit. Okay, that's better. Now, do the same step. We're gonna cut these 2, 4, 6, 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. Cool. We're gonna stick these guys in. And then we'll do our second coat of Mark Fit. We should be done with the old knife here. So up the Tal stealth suit comp to match the new team, so 5 to a unit, which seems like a nerf. Yeah, because is that minimum 5 to a unit? Is that the thing? Because they were 3, right? And cheaper squads are better for action units. Yeah, dude, it's the age of the Ultramarine. We're the ones getting buffs now. Oh, okay, no 3-man squads. Okay, yeah, yep. So you have to take what was essentially a max squad. It's too bad. Okay, so now, before we get started on this other one, we're going to grab these guys. We're going to put this Mark Fit over them. We're kind of cruising today, guys. It's really nice. So there's a small chance I might join in on an Old World event in December. My local store, they're hosting a like a toy drive, and then you donate some toys and you go play some games of the Old World. That sounds kind of fun. I might do that, and I think something I might do for that is I might grab a mini to paint, to have ready, something to add to my vampire accounts. So, oh, I moved it. You see? That's why you gotta be careful. Okay. Let that go. Those guys are all going, and we got transfers moving. So, real quick, let's take a look. After only a few minutes, man, look how, can you guys see how flat that transfer is sitting? Zoom and enhance. There you go. You guys see that? You got a little bit of glare, but look at that. After only a few minutes, that transfer is just sitting on there flat. Like the backing is gone almost. Yeah, we enhanced. That's right. So, legit. Mark Fit for transfers, guys. It makes it a viable thing. Let me zoom out. And unenhance. What is... That way? Okay. Alright. So, back to these guys. We're doing our clockwise motion here. Bit of the water out. gold transfer is really cool looking, though. I like these Infractor minis a lot. These are some of my favorite Chaos Marines. Just for like the like simple aesthetic on them. It's just really nice. This big guy. Just a little bit, there we go. So tonight, we are doing Patreon Hangout. So if you are a member of the Patreon and you're synced with the Discord, come and join us and chill. There's normally like 5 or 6 of us. I saw one person won't be able to make it tonight specifically because they're working super late, but yeah, it's a really fun time. I might just be finishing these minis tonight while we're chilling. This is my kind of efficiency though, guys. We got basing material drying and I'm able to put on transfers while we do it. So I feel like I'm doing a decent job as a commission painter. Yes, one of the key things, Culture American, is we don't grab the transfer with the tweezers. That's a desperate move to do that. So we try to use the brush on the transfer, and only when there's a lot of like water present or liquid present. Always wait for the transfer to come off the paper and use the brush to place it. Yeah, that's fair. They are called water slide transfers, you know, so if you wait, you kind of time it right. You just slide them right off, and it helps you. But yeah, I see if you're used to doing that, and then I talk about using, pointed tweezers. Yeah, that sounds sketchy. So totally get that. Okay, 2 more. If I tear transfers, the transfers I end up tearing are always giant ones. Where I'm trying to put them on a tank or something. They just won't go where they want. I'm moving around the brush and pushing it and everything, and then I end up tearing it. Looking good, man. Thank you, Airs Gaming. Yeah. So here, I'll do it real quick. So I have, because I have literally one more model to put a transfer on. I was waiting for you to come in. So I have a little container of water here, shallow water. It is clean water. It looks dirty because of the container. I cut the transfer off the sheet and I put it in the water. You see that last transfer in there. It's been in there for a couple minutes, but I normally wait at least a minute. And then I have this product called a Mark Fit. It's a decal solution. I will take my miniature and I will take this Mark Fit and I will put just a little drop of Mark Fit right where I want that transfer to go. All right, set the mini down. You need a small brush, and I use these nice precision tweezers. Precision tweezers are really good for this kind of stuff. I'm gonna pick up the transfer with the tweezers. Okay, while pick up the paper while the transfer's still on there. I'll touch the spot with the transfer paper and I will gently slide off the transfer with the brush. Okay, so it'll be on there. Put that down, pick up the mini. If there's a big drop of water under it, take a paper towel and you just gently absorb a little bit of that water to start. But you want to be able to work with this. So you gently use your brush and you push the transfer right where you want it to go. And so I'm going to put it about, I think right there is about perfect. Okay, just like this. All right, then next thing we're going to do, I'm going to take my paper towel and I'm very gently, you want to absorb the water underneath the transfer. And normally you can do that by just touching the bottom of the transfer. But if you very carefully just dab your paper towel over the top of the transfer, we're not done yet, but do that. Okay, so the water for the most part is absorbed and the Mark Fit is absorbed from underneath there. A lot of it is. Okay, we'll set him down. I like to let him sit for a minute or two, but since we're doing a little group of them, I can show you. We'll start back with our first mini. Okay, it has its transfer here. That sat down. I'll zoom and enhance on this guy, okay, to show you the before and after. So you see how it's wrinkled and there's a crease right there where it's sticking up. You can see that right in that big circle part. Okay, that's the plastic backing. All right, we're gonna take this Mark Fit, and we have this Mark Fit, and we're just gonna put it over top like this. Okay, you don't need a giant drop on it, but you want to make sure you have enough on there where it's sitting on the top. And we're just going to set this mini down. Okay, and we're going to go through all of these. And especially with Space Marine shoulder pads, transfers never sit flat on the Space Marine shoulder pads. So we're going to make sure we get our Mark Fit on top of here. And that's going to sit. We're going to go through all 8 of these guys. And then I'll pull out a guy that I put a transfer on a few minutes ago, and I'll show you how it looks. At that guy. You want to be careful. You don't want to accidentally move the transfer, because after a couple minutes that transfer is maybe starting to dry out and maybe just a little more fragile. So you just gotta you take your time and be careful. Anything in this hobby, right? You're dealing with painting and assembling minis, like taking your time is a big part of it, and just chilling out, right? So we're just gonna get, oops. Let's get this one. Get all these guys. This guy here. Don't want to overdo it with this Mark Fit. Mark Fit is incredible. If you put too much on at one time, it'll kind of like form a drop and it'll kind of settle, and that has a chance of messing with the paint a little bit. And that's the last one we just did right there. Okay, you notice if I'm messing with it too much, it'll move that transfer. We don't want that. So we're going to do that. We're going to let this sit. Okay. So as an example, this was the first mini you would have put a transfer on. This was about 20 minutes ago. You see how flat that transfer lays right there? I would recommend giving this like 4 or 5 hours to dry normally. But you can see how flat that lays because all the plastic has dissolved. This Mark Fit dissolved the plastic, and that pigment that sat on the plastic was left. What you can do, if there's still creases that are up, or if there's still, if you can still see like a lot of the plastic backing, take your Mark Fit out after like 4 or 5 hours, and you just go, you wipe off most of the Mark Fit off the brush, but you take it and you just put another little layer of Mark Fit on it. It'll continue to dissolve that plastic. But that's all you do. And you will get these, let's see, these ones we just did a couple minutes ago. Yep, you see that's already dissolving really well. Look at that. Now, at the end, with all these minis, so, we put on basing material today, so we got all that on there. We did really good. This is a solid amount of work we got done. What we're going to end up doing when the basing material dries, when it's completely dry, we're going to wash this base material. I think we're going to wash it. We'll see if we wash it or not. We might just dry brush it. We'll wash and dry brush. We will we'll paint the base rims here. Make sure there's not a bunch of excess on there. We'll paint the base rims, and then we're going to varnish these minis. And once we put a matte varnish on over this, oops, these transfers here, you won't be able to tell they're transfers. Like, they're just going to blend in with the rest of the mini. There's no glossy finish on them. It'll just be, everything will just be really consistent with how they look. And it's, yeah, it'll look great. Well, I'm really happy that my, oh no, out. My 2 containers of base material lasted me. So that's really good. Got decals to do next. I'm putting off because I haven't done them before. Yeah, absolutely. And refer back to this video if you need a guide, or put a message in the Discord, Fox. And if you want like what product did you use for your transfers, or what exactly do I do here, or any of that stuff, like just ask. And I'm more than happy to try to help. Transfers are those things like GW does them terribly. If you go on the Games Workshop website and you look at some Space Marine minis and you look at their shoulder pads, you can tell they use transfers, and you can tell they didn't use any decal solution because they sit up and they're creased and they look awful, which is weird because their minis are painted so well, but they don't let them use the decal solution for some reason. Like, GW doesn't sell their own, which is crazy to me. I don't understand it. But if you can, once you figure out this Mark Fit stuff, and it's just this stuff right here. Tamiya Mark Fit, or Mr. Hobby Mark Fit. No, it's Tamiya. It's Tamiya Mark Fit. I think they're the same company. But once you do this stuff, and there's just instructions, right? Yeah, directions. Says apply it to the area where the decal is applied. Next, apply the decal where Mark Fit's been applied. Add a small amount of water onto the decal. Move to the desired position. Remove air bubbles. Yep, so if you have a big transfer, pushing out the air bubbles from underneath is really important. And then apply Mark Fit once again and do not touch until completely dry. So that's it. It's very simple. And like I was saying earlier, this bottle, you can see how full this bottle is. That fill line it's coming up to here on the bottle. I have used this to literally apply thousands of transfers. This same bottle, I've never refilled it. I've never purchased a second bottle. This is all I've used for years, and it's still working, and there's still this much of this stuff. So you buy this bottle once, it'll last you pretty much the rest of your hobby life, maybe. Very well could. I assume this stuff is going to evaporate before I ever get to use all of it. Put up Microsol and Set a while back. Yeah, I've never used Microsol Microset, so I can't speak to that specific product, but You know, the reason I like MarkFit and I originally chose it was because it's one product. I have one product and I can do all the things, right? I'll take this water, just dump it in my cup there. Done with that. Yeah, I do recommend some nice tweezers. I like using tweezers for this, and I have these nice precision tweezers. These are so useful. So incredibly useful in this hobby, this kind of thing. Yeah, and an old brush, a small brush. Also a hobby knife to cut your transfers out. Let me put some of this stuff back. Yeah, we did good. And all those transfers, we use this much of the transfer sheet. That's it. This is just a little like quarter transfer sheet here. So, very cool. It said Steam VR headset was revealed. Oh, that's cool. All right. I want to look at this mini. I think this was the first mini we put basing material. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that base. Where is it? There we go. Yeah, the different textures in there look really good. Look really good. Thank you. I'm excited. These are gonna look great. I do also have. Where is this other one? Not you, not you. Is it you? Yeah, okay. I got this stuff. This Mars Dust Weathering Powder from Huge Miniatures, an Ohio-based company, which is pretty crazy. But we're gonna take this stuff and we're gonna apply it around the feet and legs a little bit and down onto the base when we're kind of done with these minis. I think I'm not gonna wash. I think I'm just gonna dry brush, and then we're gonna do weathering powder. I don't think the wash is going to come out at all once we're done doing everything else. So yeah, but weathering powder will be really nice. It'll kind of bring these minis full circle, and then they're done. We're done with the minis at that point. We'll varnish them and send them out to the customer. Take some pictures, do all that thing. But yeah, that's what we have going on with these minis. I'm gonna put this stuff back. No shenanigans. Nothing crazy. It's all pretty easy. Just if you don't know, you don't know, right? Well, guys, I can't do anything with these minis right now, and I'm not going to get out more minis right now because the next project I have to start is assembly, and I'm not going to start assembling models right here. So I think I'm going to call stream a little early today, and yeah, we're going to be back tomorrow. And what I will do tomorrow is I will finish these minis, everything but the varnish. So dry brush, weathering powder, base rim, those kinds of things. Make sure the transfers are all good. We'll do all of that, and then I will start assembling my next project. That's what I'll do tomorrow. Okay. Yeah, and Airs Gaming, by all means, if you are in the Discord, if someone could link the Discord, please, just !Discord. If you ever have any questions, just feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer questions, or to send you the right guide and everything. But yeah, we'll finish painting these tomorrow, and then we'll just go ahead and start assembling some Votann minis, if that's cool with you guys. But I think that's what we'll be doing. I'm really happy. It's another project, guys. It feels really good to get some projects done. So it's good stuff. Get in there. Yeah. It's a great community. We're just a very, very chill community, but very encouraging, very positive. Yeah, it's a good group of people. So, all right. Well, you guys have a wonderful afternoon. House of W, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I am getting off for the day, guys. Gonna go, I don't know, eat some food and run some errands, I guess. But I will see you all tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern. Yes, even if you are Space Wolf Enjoyer, you're welcome in the Discord. We have a couple of them. They're all very friendly. So, but yeah, you guys have a wonderful day, wonderful evening. Patreon chat is still on tonight, guys, if you're in the Patreon. So, yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bye, everybody.